like to yield to my colleague and someone who joins me almost every Monday night, who brings a wealth of information to this body, the Honorable Sheila Jackson Lee from the state of Texas, the gentlewoman from Texas.
Speaker, it's a pleasure to be with you this morning, and I thank you for your leadership this evening as we discuss with our colleagues a very important crisis that is now approaching, that I hope our message tonight really provides the stopgap, the finger in the dike, if you will, that is about to overrun itself, and that is the numbers of Americans who are crying out to this Congress to do the right thing. I thank the gentlelady from Ohio for her persistent leadership and her timeliness, because this is a very, very important need that needs action, and it needs action now. And I guess I would like to add to this definition of what unemployment benefits are and what it means to extend them, and the numbers of Americans that are now waiting. Between 2 and 15 million Americans are now waiting for those benefits to be extended. And the extension is simply adding to the 26 weeks that are now expiring. And you mentioned that it was not a gift, and I'd like to suggest something even more. I wonder if we have read recently the story of the Good Samaritan. And that story has traveled with me throughout my public life. In fact, I believe that we on this floor and we in this body are really public servants. We work for the people, and we are to do the right thing, their bidding, as it relates to the enhancement of the quality of life that they have been promised under our Constitution. In fact, the Declaration of Independence really says that we are created with inalienable rights of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, and that pursuit of happiness has a lot to do with prosperity and the ability to provide for one's family. And so, in this instance, the Good Samaritan is the federal government, but it is not in a position of handing out something. As the story goes, the Good Samaritan helped someone who had been violated by others, and they could not help themselves. It's not that they purposely were laying alongside the road. They had been violated by others. In this instance, the individuals who are on unemployment now and are looking for an unemployment benefit create the atmosphere where they were not working. The very fact that they have ownership to unemployment benefits is the fact that they worked. And they created a trust with the federal government. They put their money in a trust while they were working. And in addition, they made a contract. I will work, and under the present laws, you will help me when I am out of work, and when there is evidence, of course, that there is no work for these individuals to secure at this time. We've made great strides. Under the Bush administration, we were losing 750,000 jobs a month. We have gained jobs because of the stimulus package that the Democratic leadership and members have voted for. And I'm grateful that we took the risk under much accusations and criticism. But in that process, we have elevated some to work. But even with that effort, we find ourselves struggling because there are more people out of work than there are jobs at this time. And so what we're asking the obstructionists to not do is to not block the bridge that these unemployed Americans need. Do not dissolve the trust. Do not breach the contract that we've made with Americans who invest in their trust fund or in unemployment benefits by their taxes, so that if they were unemployed, through no fault of their own, they could secure resources for what the many stories of Americans will tell you. These are not resources for vacation. This is not resources for recreation. This is not resources just to stay home and take an easy day. These people are taking these dollars to keep a roof over their head, to pay the next mortgage payment, the health care bill, utility bills in the heat of the summer when we have one of the hottest summers that you could ever imagine, high utility bills. For some families who have children with asthma, respiratory illnesses, they need air conditioning, their bills are high, and certainly to simply provide food on the table for children who are innocent, for seniors who may be living with families who are innocent, for single parent head of households who are innocent, who literally have worked. Story I heard today at a hearing in Memphis on foreclosure about a woman with a number of children who worked as hard as she could, but the industry that she was in, furniture sales, obviously home sales are down, furniture sales are down. She finds herself upon hard times. She needs unemployment insurance to make sure that she doesn't lose the small condominium that she has. These are painful stories. 62% of Americans agree that we should extend the unemployment benefits. The Congressional Budget Office policies that could be implemented relatively quickly or targeted toward people whose consumption tends to be restricted by their income, such as reducing payroll taxes for firms that increase payroll or increasing aid to the unemployed, would have the largest effects on output and employment per dollar of budgetary costs, meaning that extending unemployment benefits is one of the most cost-effective ways of churning the economy, but preventing people from collapsing under the weight and the burden of having nothing. It also speaks to the mental state of people who are struggling. They need to know that there is an out. There's a way that they can be provided for. And so we, the Democrats, would provide for up to 99 weekly unemployment checks, averaging about $300 to people whose 26 weeks of state-paid benefits have run out. The benefits will be extended toward the end of November. What can I say? It's a simple request. I ask the Senate Republicans to stop now from blocking hardworking Americans from being able to provide for their families. I ask you to accept the Democratic proposal of extending these benefits for 99 weeks, up to 99 weeks, and to do what we did in this House. I'm appreciative of the gentlelady's leadership and grateful that our leadership came to the floor tonight. Majority Leader Steny Hoyer wanted our colleagues to know that the leadership stands firmly behind doing the right thing. I want to remind our colleagues of some stories that we heard early on. We were discussing another issue. Some may not be aware that some of our young soldiers have had to be on food stamps in the past. Democrats, of course, have corrected some of that by increasing their wages. But never let it be said that we are here making tomfoolery out of the budget of this nation. We are here standing for people who are truly in need. And tomorrow will be the SOS day, the emergency day, the call today for action. And I hope that colleagues will remember the story of the Good Samaritan and provide and reinforce the trust and the contract made with the American people that if you work, you invest, that when you need the rainy day umbrella of unemployment benefits extended, we will be there for you. I yield back to the gentlelady.
Thank you so very much. It's always enlightening to hear how you approach a subject. I thank you so much for always sharing Monday evenings with me.